chains to blood and gore. Through rivers of despair you tread, in the land of the living dead. Bone-clad altar where shadows creep, eyes of terror, no peace and sleep. Rest, O king, beneath.
Hey, I'm back, guys. So in this video, we are going to celebrate completing this model, because why complete this if we're just going to run off to the next gray model? We're running from gray model to gray model. So user LKS pointed out that, hey, what about texturing it? What about shading it? What about rendering it? What about loving it? It's like, you know what? This man speaks truth. So yeah, I must caress and love the model. So I'll make a new iteration and let's have fun. So I went on Blender Market and I picked up basically all the things defined as plastic. I should have an image showing of what I looked at on the sales page, and I just picked up a few of these products just based on what I saw. And this is basically the ones I selected. And as we see, you know, I picked up a few that are connected with kit hops and a couple of them that are just connected as just regular plastic shaders. So we'll just start that download. We'll go ahead and start the next one. Dang, which one do we choose? Speckled plastics. Do I need a speckled plastic? What is that, polyspec? What is a speckled plastic neutral? You know, I do like the sound of a neutral. Let's go with this one. Has just one file. This one's just one zip. But you know, when it comes to materials and collecting materials, as you see, it's a little bit complicated, right? So we want, I don't even know which one to go with. You know, usually when I pick up things, I always just go with just one. I just download one thing. You know, we'll grab both of them. But we're just trying to shade this thing. I'm not trying to turn this into a big thing. So let us just bring our window back off on the side. And I'm going to pop open a window of this. And from here, we can start unpacking some of these. So I'm just going to copy everything and then, or cut it and then put it in a new folder that you can't see off on the side called mats. And we'll just paste everything in there. And the only reason I'm not showing it is because I never know if there's some lunatic that's thinking that they're engineering information out of me because showing things I'm not supposed to on my computer, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to cause weird situations, even though my life is nothing but the weirdest situations you've ever heard of. Because of my mouth, I never stop talking, so of course I have situations that are as a result of that. So here we're going to pop up a new Blender 4.2, and we'll just wait for that to pop open. And I see that one of these materials I got is 851 megs. That's just humongous. I'm just saying. Let's open that one first. And wow, this is actually a very nice presentation though. In fact, let's jump into render, and it's probably in cycles. All the best rendering done in cycles. So we just drag a material on it. I mean, this is just me thinking that's how Blender should work. So how should Blender work? You just drag and drop it. This material looks pretty throwed. In fact, I am actually pleased with this file. Like this file being so big. It's crazy that blend files are so humongous. I could give the longest rant about how things are just. I like the black one. The black is just dark, but it speaks to me. So we are going to, let's put this on a sphere. Yeah, we don't have to put, we can put it on anything, you know. But for me, it's just easy to just put a sphere, Alt M, and just hit this with the 02 SM plastic. We copy it, and we stop this from rendering because otherwise it'll choke the computer in the background, and we don't want that. So we're just going to jump back, and we just paste it back in, and that's our object. So I just Alt G put it back, but if I don't have hotkeys showing, did I really do anything right? And I forget to turn it back on when I capture a thumbnail. I don't want the text in the thumbnail. Sometimes I'm really lazy and I don't care, but I realize that that's like super hacky too. So we have our material and it has the plastic on it, so I'm just going to select everything. That's lazy too. We'll just select the actual item, and I don't like how that part shrinks on the inside. It's like so bad. You know, this thing shrinks like a missile. So let's just get that correct real fast. Just small distraction. but you know, we can't be hacking it. Yeah, we'll get rid of the face. We'll go ahead and just offset that. So now we are looking at it in a better place. It was just looking bad on the inside. You know, we can't, if we see a mistake, we can't let it stay. If we're going to cut a corner, we're going to cut a corner that can't be seen. So let us just hit this with the plastic material, and we can get rid of this. And it didn't change anything in our viewport, so that's good. We'll just jump over into Look Dev just to let things start popping off. And we're just letting the shaders build. And things are beginning to choke nicely. And really this material kind of works. I mean, what more do I need with this material? We have roughness, we have edge wear, or we think we have some edge wear. I mean, Blender be getting pretty thrilled. I mean, especially when it comes to calculating edge wear, the fact that edge wear can now be dynamically calculated on the fly on a shader level means that this particular material that we grabbed is actually quite nice for the job. Not saying the rest of them aren't, but I chose the one with the largest file size, and it just turns out that they win. I mean, only because my needs are so basic that the first thing I stopped at turns out to be all that I need. So let us jump over to render, and we're just going to pretend like this is a little more, let's get rid of the original camera. We're just going to make this a little bit more ours. Delete that. What else do we have over here? We have objects that are not showing that probably, I'm probably making a mistake right here. Deleting hidden objects just for the fact that they're hidden without fully understanding. See, I told you. You start making mistakes. If you just start moving willy-nilly, you will cause some serious mistakes. So we're going to make a new collection, and we'll move this up, and let us let's call this handheld. I always talk about how I love these songs, but hey, these songs be thrown. I'd be sucked into these worlds. Not like on a storytelling level, like I'm trying to make content for myself, and just, I don't know, I'm telling you, it just trips me out. So what we need to do is actually get out of layout, because it's the camera that I'm worried about, this thing. I don't want it as part of the collection instance, so we can actually move this to collection 3. And I know this music makes me sound like I just dream of destruction and bloodshed, but no, I mean, I live in a world where that ain't happening right now. People be talking about it happening. I don't want it happening at all. I don't want the rabbits coming for me, making the world bleed. Let's just get that off off our chest. So I'm just setting it on the floor, so we just have something to look at. And we'll place something on the floor. We'll make a floor, just so we have something to sit on. And I have to move it up just slightly. It just feels like it's sinking into the floor, and I don't like that. So now we have our object, we have our material on it, and I will need to be able to see bump. Like, that's the whole purpose of this. Like, we need to get it to bump, and also we're nowhere near done. The party's just getting started. We're just playing with rendering. I'm not the best renderer, and I'm not going to be here masquerading as if I'm a good renderer. Like, I'm just a guy. I'm just trying, guys. Just a guy's guy. I'm gonna say that and end up with a boyfriend, alright? So I need to stop saying that. And also men's man. You know, both of those are being discontinued just because of the implications. Just more Blender jokes. I mean, not even Blender jokes. Are you going to load it or are you not? So I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking, do I want this person's plastic for this? You know what? Let's bring in the next one. This one is Plastic Asset Browser, the file. Let's just open it up and let's just see what we got. What do we have when we first open the file? Okay, you don't want to open it and be in the render. You know, who knows if your computer can... Oh, geez. Actually, this guy... I remember this material pack. You know, when I was looking at it, I was like, hey, this thing looks like it's fire. Alright, what I need is a modifier to mess with. Let's see, we could take this, drag it out and put a value. I mean, I'm just taking value because it's just the easiest way. And I mean, hey, this thing's a winner. This thing's a winner. Alt M. Let's control tilde. Let's look at the, okay, and that just has only one material. Let's jump back to our original file. And we're just going to jump over to handheld, and we're going to bring in that thing because I immediately liked what I saw. I was going to make a material, but I thought it would be funner to just see what's going on in the community, because there's so many people doing so many different efforts in different areas, and I'd like to spend more time highlighting these things. Not any other reason, just because it'd be fun content, and you know, I want to try to what do we do? Do we require UVs? Is that what's going on? Oh, you know what? We do. We do require UVs. So let's just do that. Let's auto unwrap. That's not gonna do it. How hard is it to UV, guys? Just playing. I shouldn't ask y'all. Y'all will say, hey, it's completely easy. And every time I ask those questions, people say, yeah, it's completely easy. You just use a completely different program that isn't Blender, all right? You use Rism, you use this. And also, Rism would be fun, right, for a blind try. Because people always talk about Rism, and I'm like, hey, get out of my face. I am not trying to hear about no Rism. But that would actually be fun, because I'm trying to be more open-minded now. I'm trying to be more tolerant, all right? Tolerant of other programs. Because if it's the end of the world, ooh, baby. Hey, that acoustic phone, I mean, that one's a little intense, but the way that it interacts with the topology is so dope. Like Blender's viewport, hey, you can't be talking no dirt about that. Like, you know, that's your home program. That's the homeboy right there, the hometown application. I mean, we're talking about Eevee looking this road visually with a little tessellation happening so good. It makes it look like the mesh isn't even holding it together. That's when you know it's good. All right, at least to me. Like I'm just looking at this like, whoa. All right. Like a good little blender, a little Boolean country. All right, so now this piece also has the same material, but you know, look at it. It's just terrible. What seams? I mean, without seams. So let's get rid of any seams. She was icy as a rock. Hey, that's a cold ex-wife. All right. Just know that the real me, the guy that you watch in the video, yeah, I don't have ex-wives. All right. Hey, that indicates that someone wants to marry you. All right. So I shouldn't say that too loud. My girl's gonna be in the next room grimacing. She hates my self-deprecating humor. So let us grab this, and we will go ahead and perform a seam, and we'll also do the same. And you never want them to take the bulls. All right, that's the worst part of the song. I mean, the saddest part of the song. Like, I was thinking about doing another song where basically the woman leaves them, but for a default cube. And the guy just keeps getting left for different default cubes to the point that he's like just against all cubes of any form, like even other types of cuboid shapes, like, you know, trapezoids and trapezoids and polyhedrons, you know, all the geodesic shapes. But no, I'm just making jokes here. We're just trying to have a little fun in a video, you know, all we can do. Otherwise, I'm being boring. When love and meshes both fall apart. I mean, if I ever do get broken up with, I'll be making some of the most fire songs ever. I'll be talking about blending away the pain, having cold beers, you know, surviving bear traps, you know. I'll be singing about based wife, you know, based girl. Just playing. I just say that as a joke. It's just funny. She's probably not based at all. You know, if she heard that, she'd be like, I'm not based, you jerk. You just said that because I don't agree with you. And that also is funny. You know, that's what you get for being based. No, I'm playing. I'll stop. So we're just gonna give this one the plastic just because I think it fits better. So we're just looking at what we got here, and you know, there's a certain result that I'm wanting in my render, and you know, we're just goofing off right now, but we're gonna get that. We're just goofing off. You know, also let's look at this plastic because I need a trigger. Kindly rate the material. Alright, we'll see. We will see. Just playing. But also we will see because we are judging it right now in action. Alright, so we'll copy that. Alright, and so we'll grab this and give it that scratched plastic, delete the sphere, and let's go back to the original. It'd be funny if she was colder than a rock. That would also work. This one has actual wireframe enabled. So let's go and take a look at that. And we don't want to show the wire. And we don't want this red to be so red. Like, it's just too red, you know. Hey, don't tell people I said that. They'd be like, aha, you got him. Finally admits it. Too red. He's red to rights. Play on dead to rights. Let's undo that. We don't need that many markings. You know, sometimes you don't have UVs and you get that mad. And as a result, you are just going to have to do it very hard. So let us just grab these. Shout out to all the people signing up to the Patreon. I don't even advertise the link. I don't even invite people to it. I mean, I might mention it more than I used to, but yeah, shout out to everybody who's signing up to it. Like, I don't be expecting it, and I'm always surprised. Like, every time I get an email for it, I get a pang of anxiety for reals. Like, I'm like, oh my god, I have to please this many more people. And since y'all are paying for the entertainment, hey, I'm about to get wild. The public ain't gonna like it. Public ain't gonna like me. I'm gonna be a pariah. People are throwing tomatoes at pictures of me in their shadow fortresses. You know, what if everybody has a shadow fortress? You know, that's just what I call the home I stay in. Like, I'm like, yeah, this is my winter fortress where I just sit and I hate, and you know, and I coil snakes. Coil snakes. Actually, that sounds very, very vulgar. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Where snakes coil around my feet, and I'm just like, next time, catch it. Next time. I'm sorry, I need to finish that thought so you don't think I'm talking about excretory activity. And now that we have that, we at least can see it, but I want to see the bump. Like, I feel like I see the bump when I pull back, but we want to see it even more. Like, is there a normal on this? We got a little bit of displacement. We have a normal map right here. We could always crank that up, which it ain't needed. Looks like there's not an option for that, or at least in the way that I'm thinking. Uh-oh. See, the AI just knows what song I want to hear next. They're like, hey, you haven't heard some edge in a moment. It's like, yeah, you're right. I haven't heard something edgy enough for a minute. Like, this is like a dead and handheld. So for something like this, I would probably just give it a blank material. But a blank material, I meant to actually shift click this one, so that way we could scroll through blank material alternations, because we can just roll and see how long it takes us to get something metallic enough. Hey, that's crazy seeing noise pop up like that. Am I in Eevee next? You know, I don't even know. Maybe I am in Eevee next. I don't remember putting it on, but I did want to do a blind run it because I've been hearing people say that it's terrible, and I'm like, maybe they're just being hard. You know, Blender's always great. Oh, I am in Eevee next. No wonder my thing was looking all nuts. All right. Yeah, Blender's always great. Except for when the undo's killing you. You know, if the undo's not killing us, we can work. I can work with this. You know, that's how desperate Blender has made me in life. Is I'm just able to accept that. Like, I'm like, ooh, I can live with that. Like, if Blender's not gonna have a killer undo, I can live with that. So for this area, I don't like what's going on topologically here. And we see that it's because of laziness. Like 2 videos ago, I was like, let's not do the other version that has to be solved 4 ways. Let's do the version that's solved 2 ways. And we see that, you know, that decision will haunt us eternally. And now the haunting's over. So let's grab this face, press Shift G. We're gonna choose normal. And I thought that would be a smarter choice. What we'll do is select this entire loop, hope that we select it all the way around. We see that we do not. I can't wait till we begin talking about using inflow for UVing, because inflow does so much. It does so much more than just modeling. Modeling is just one of the things that it's able to assist you with. And what it was made to work for, I don't even demonstrate it used for that, because I think it does it terribly. Right now it does it terribly. One day it will not. One day it will do it so great. And that will be a moment. It will be a moment. It'll be a moment for me. And those who hate the product. Like, if you hate the product, you probably don't want to ever see it make it to that goal. You probably want me to lose steam. Like, I mean, this whole modeling adventure could be me speed running RSS. Or I already have RSS. You know, I talked about how I'm a person that sees opportunity even in setbacks, even in terrible setbacks. And I see that even in hand pain, that I can analyze it and maybe prevent it in the future from others. To those who already have hand pain, they're probably looking at me and they're just like, yep, this product's stupid, I don't need it, because, you know, their hands are already destroyed. Their hands are done. They got those dunzo hands, and that's fine. My hands are in the same state, so I'm not even talking smack, I'm just saying we can save the next generation. They don't have to go out like us. So just slapping materials and just looking at this thing, and obviously we're gonna have to give this something that actually shows we care. Like, that isn't the mark of caring. That's like the mark of I don't even know. Let's tap into edit mode on this and take a look at it. I was gonna say this is the mark of failure, but I don't want to say that yet until I prove that I'm not a failure. Then I can talk smack about myself. Be like, yeah, guys, I proved that I am not a failure. But right now, I don't even know how I'm gonna survive this. And that's the goal of my content now, is I want to choose things to do that are, you know, beyond me, and push myself. But push myself in a way where you don't see me coming in like a winner. You see me slump away like a loser. And we can laugh about that, or we can work on strategizing how to make that better. And, you know, I'm just putting glass. And I mean, there's some moments in Eevee Next, I'm just like, holy moly. Hey, you won't hear me talking dirt about this. Like, dang, goodbye, Eevee. Peace, bro. I mean, there might be some things y'all probably need in this thing to make it perfect, but, hey. You know what also I need is this to be darker. You know, never mind. I was about to make a joke there that would have got me canceled. I just can't stop making cancelable jokes, alright? Like I said, I come from a culture where people are a little spicy in their humor. You know, everybody's throwing out those sharp barbs that get you taken off the Christmas list. Definitely, like, yeah, you're not sending them a Christmas card. They called my child an ugly gremlin, or whatever the case is. You know, whatever it is that it takes to offend people, but. I'm just looking at this very complicated material, wondering how do I just make it darker? I know, I'm like, hey, I model like I make music. I just need it darker and edgier, and more edges and darker. Which I know, I'm just being funny, guys. Where's the roughness? Roughness, chapter 8, roughness. So if I want it to be shiny, which shiny also has kind of a throat look, dang. Damn. Hey, you calm down. I don't need that. I don't need hey, I kind of need that. Like, hey, this noise that I'm seeing on the surface, like that right there. Boy, this thing starts feeling real. I'm like, hand me that. I'm about to go put this up against someone's neck right now to make sure that they aren't a freaking android. Like, I got people to scan. You know, that's one of the things I love about modeling is like that moment it crosses from fantasy into reality, and you can like start getting what is on this model. Like, I have so much roughness garbage on here. Let's see if we can reduce that just a little bit. Like, calm down, bro. And we lower our specular. We want to get a little bit of shininess. You know, I'll probably, you know, mess with the roughness just a tad, but we're just having some fun here. We're gonna have to multiply both all these by 2. You know, it's just easier to do math. It's not. Let's divide by 2, divide by 2. Alright, and let's try that at 6. Alright, let's not do that at 6. Let's try it at 2. Let's do that at 1. Let's... The mapping is just that. I mean, I'm getting acquainted with the material in real time, so I pardon my idiocy. That's part of the stick, is being just a slight dummy. Let's see, 0.6. That's too big. Let's see, 2. Dang, every time I get close though, I'm seeing things I love. I don't love all the staining though, like this. Let's look at another material, because I'm just being obsessed with a single material, even though I could make that material work. I really could. Who am I convincing, me or you? The other one I got is these materials for KitOps, which will require I install the KitOps 3. I'll spare you that one, just because I'm doing something dedicated for KitOps, and I want to try to be funny with it, because Chip tried to get funny with me. Alright, so that means I gotta be creative and funny now. And also, he was talking that smack earlier. Let's see, value. And we're just looking at this at a small scale. And it kind of looks like some sort of like, I don't know, Adobe putty or air duct rubber. Is this gun worth making out of air duct rubber? Let's take a look at the scratch plastic, because I mean, we're going for a plastic and we're trying to get something that isn't noisy, but we do want to dial in a little noise. Not to be a critical person on the person who made this material, but a simplicity in the approach of all this, instead of having to maneuver around. I mean, I guess I can do that because, you know, I've been using Blender forever. But if I was like showcasing material, then yeah, jumping around like it does make me want to jump straight over and just grab KitOps, because it is very easy. Just let the system of KitOps handle everything. So this one is the SM plastic. Do we still have that active? Is that what we're using? And we're on the 02 SM plastic. So let's take a look at this, and we're about to fall in love with 06 SM plastic. So I will take an icosphere, Alt M, we'll put the 06 and then copy this and go back to the original file that we're messing with over here. If it, there we go, paste it at the beginning, and you know, we see that it's not going to be the dark that we need it to be. This isn't going to be dark night dark, it's going to be back to this. And also, it kind of looks a little unusual at such a scale, so let's go into material and make adjustments to this. So I don't know if I like dealing with these material properties like this all the time, but I'm just complaining because alright, and let's see, 0.3, you know, maybe something smaller that we want. Oh god, we do not. What we want is 4. What we want is 8. And let's see if we can get the color to go darker. but not too dark. You know, I always try to stay away from blackety black, which is the final level of black. In case you've ever wondered what's blacker than black, it's blackety black. Don't come back, and if you do, don't be black when you do. Just playing. I'm just making puns now. Alright, and let's look at our roughness so we can make it like shiny. Maybe we can give these two the same materials just so we get something like that. And if this is going to be a thing, we probably want this to, we probably want to adjust the value a little bit. You know, everything's better darker, which I know these are terrible strategies. Don't take color advice from me. I'm just looking at some of the values we're getting. You know, we have a roughness, but in our roughness, all we have is this, and without the ability to view the output, it does make it a little bit unusual. And so for this area, we'll just give it the material, the same thing that we have it using over here, which is, oh, glass. Okay, we want to call that Matt, like a person named Matt, and that's why we can't find it, because it was called glass, and I'm not gonna pick glass on this thing. I mean, it just looks so crazy. And also, we're gonna have to take it a step further, meaning I'm gonna grab this and we are going to just curve extract, which I'm surprised that works. I've been really ranting about it needing to not do something called whiffing, which is where we tell it to do the curve extract and it just doesn't do it. And it's like, well, what did it do? And it's like, I don't know. It's like, well, make it do the operation. What do you mean you don't know what it's doing? These are terrible things. We need it to do the thing. And so something like that we'll certainly do visually, and we'll just mirror that to the other side, so we just have something there. And of course we can start detailing this and adding in more of those small things. Like, for example, I do want to grab this and maybe just have it be metal down to here at the bottom. So we'll hit that with the matte too, just because matte is treating us good today. And we probably do also want to put some glowing things on the front, just so we know what's going on when you put it on someone's head. I don't know if having that red's the best idea. Probably having it black, I think, looks better. But let's go over to the front page and just take a look at this. So what I want to do now is, I guess we can give one to the other one, but this is a new file. Well, not a new file, this is a new iteration of the adventures, so we can actually raise this and start positioning our camera a little better. We just want to have the camera following the asset, so that we can just see what's going on here. And so I'm gonna have to find someone doing an official plastic, be like, listen, I need a new official 24 rough plastic, like final level rough plastic, no BS, the ultimate plastic. Like back in the day, I used to have something called Kevlar and rough plastic, and those were the good old days in Blender. I'm gonna have to make it black too, because you know, black just works better. And let us go ahead and turn this off. And right now we're looking at it in Look Dev, and this is us looking at it in Render. And so for us to make this work in Render, we're gonna need a few things. You know, we need some light. You know, we could add an HDR, which I haven't dealt with an HDR in so long. Let's go ahead and do that. So what we'll do is change this over to be a, what is it? Environment? Wow, I'm screwing up, guys, sorry. And then from here, I'll just load up HDR real fast, browsing through my computer. All right, so what I'm gonna do is grab these things called VHDRIs. A long time ago, Algorithmic was selling these for like way too much money. And as a result, I have some VHDRIs. So we'll just bring one in. And we want to basically do a rotation on this, but to do a rotation, we'll need to have this added to, was it position? No, mapping. Alright, we're going to have to go over to the area for that. Let's see, I should be able to rotate it from here, but it's gonna just basically work me and make me look like an idiot until I remember exactly what parameter it is. So what is it supposed to be? Like, I'm now more curious in how we solve it from this view. So it's not tangent. Nope. Wow.
Welcome to your final fate. In this darkness I cultivate hate.
Alright, let's go over to the shading editor. I just never dealt with it through that particular panel. So as a result, it got me. It got me. I have to own it. I have to own that it got me. So here we are in world, and we have world over here. Bwahaha. Let's press home. Alright, now we see it. So we were almost correct. What we need is just an input, and we probably actually just rotate it like this. Oh. And of course we need an input, texture coordinates, generated. So this would be crazy to be dealing with from the perspective of the actual object, to tell it that you need to put that in the front. So that's just kind of one of those Blender fluidity things that I think they could probably improve upon. But who am I to say that, right? I'm just a random guy. But I approach everything in a way where I'm just kind of always in the state of analysis. So now what we want to do is press Alt-V-B, and we can bring in a light setup. But we do want to press Shift-C, put our cursor in the center, then press Alt-V, Alt-V-B, and we can just start scrolling through some light setups and just see how bad we did. Alright, and I'm looking at this thinking, this boy too shiny. So we want to select this, go under the material, and just start messing with our roughness again. And let's see what happens if we adjust our roughness from here. You know, as I lower the roughness, I'm loving what I'm seeing just with the way that it's being rendered. However, with this one, that one's probably just a little too shiny, at least that's how it's feeling to me. And also the body, I don't know if I like it having this acoustic foam. I mean, it might look better with just red plastic. So it's just a red plastic weapon with a lit logo that isn't lit. And we want to grab these two, give it the same material as this. Except for this material on the inside, we probably want to give it the same material as this for now, until we actually give it something that's a little more appropriate. But I see that, you know, rendering will be one of the areas I'll need to definitely focus on. So adding it into the pipeline as an area to basically begin experimenting with for improvement just sounds like it will be a good idea for me, because anything that's weak, I want to begin working with it. Like I want to do it and not let it be a private struggle, you know. Like, let's pretend like 3D's going away, and if it is, then yeah, we would just get in there and do it no matter what. And I'm just looking at this thinking, how do I get the normal to look a little bit better? And it's probably in here. And what we're going to do is lower this to 0.3. Now what we're going to do is make this 2. Alright, and from here, we're just thinking about how much color we want to have in this, because that's just a matter of saturation or a value. Alright, and I went so muted with this that I kind of took all the life out of it. So I'll have to reapproach it to have it in a way that isn't so drab. Like, I don't want to be drab. So drab, guys. almost am curious in what the shading is doing on the color side of this. Sorry about that. And so here we have our color, and we'll just put a diffuse. I wonder if we can make this go between the color that we have plugged in. I mean, I don't see a, I guess, this is the craziest shader. And I don't even want to be inside of it like that. I'm trying to get back out. You know, but okay, I just pressed Control Tab because I was like, maybe Control Tab's a thing now. Because it's pretty scary to be stuck inside of a material recursively, endlessly, because of the way it was constructed. So, alright, I'm going to retry this one more time, but this time with a clean approach to the materials, just to make sure that it's not looking so washed out. Like, I'm looking at this now and I'm like, oh, this is so washed out. Why am I so drab? This thing looks like it was found in the dirt. So, let me rethink this. So I was looking at this and I was wondering, like, why is this a letdown? You know, where did I go wrong on this, you know, when it came to rendering it? And you know what's crazy is the moment I jumped it down from Eevee, to Eevee, from Eevee, whatever that is, everything just started working better. I mean, I have an issue on this one when it comes to transparency because I need to set this back to be opaque, so that isn't a thing. But other than that, everything else is actually looking better. I mean, let's go back and forth once again. So here we are in Eevee next, Eevee, Eevee next, Eevee, Eevee next. So, wait, what? So, what the hell? Is there a bug? How can it be so off? Like if we look in this area, there's like a life being lost. And as a result, you know, how can we even make it work in a render if the life is being lost? So we go down to color management, you know, we start messing with that, and we see that, you know, this isn't really doing anything to the viewport because, and I think nowadays people are using AGX, is that right? But look, we look at this again, and we just go from basically Eevee next to Eevee. And I was going to say, Blender can't do no wrong. And I look at this, I'm like, wait, they're doing me so wrong. How can I make the other one win when this is basically a better result? So, I mean, I'm not trying to be that way, but, you know, it just is, you know, it just is or it isn't. And in this case, I'm sure they'll get it just right. And I'm just over here just talking about something I don't know about. In fact, I kind of went a little too desaturated there. We want a little bit of red just so we have something going on, and this piece isn't being mirrored over to the other side. So I do hate that, and I do want to pull some of these out just so we have something going on here. So maybe something like that, and you know, now I could definitely see myself holding this and using this against the neck of an android to deactivate them permanently, which is what I'm sure people watching want to do with me. They're like, please, I'm only watching this channel in hopes that MX becomes a hero. Just kidding. You'll be watching a long time. Like a month at least. You know, if I keep having to solve handhelds, maybe. But no, I joke, of course. I can't even make those sort of jokes because, for one, they're inappropriate, and also I've known more people who have died than lived. No, I'm kidding. That doesn't even make sense. But, you know, like I say in other videos, like the life of a 3D artist is a grisly end. That's why we gotta come up with a good plan for how to end properly, because it's something we never think about, and you know, by the time that we are ended, the company is ended. The company is completely over. It doesn't even exist anymore. They're telling us to pack our bags and to leave, you know, and that the computers will be erased at the end of the day. Kind of like a call center, by the way. You know, whenever they're nuking the computers, yeah, that's a call center. They used to nuke the computers all the time, and I would have like big Blender projects I would be doing across multiple computers that I would be trying to save and run between sessions of work, and they would just end up it would just end up a mess. But my favorite Blender call center story is the time that someone came by and they're like, yo, what program's that? I was like, dude, it's Blender. Here, let me give you a copy. And I accidentally deleted everything I ever worked on because I was keeping it on a pen drive. And as a result, I just immediately, and you know, you can't tell a person you did that when you're giving them Blender, because they're going to be like, yo, I don't want to use that program. You just erased your whole career. Yeah, I don't want to mess with that. But that was totally what I did to myself. So now we look at this over in rendered view, and for this, let's Alt VB, and we're just rolling through setups till we find a setup that like speaks to us. Because now that we have shadows, you know, maybe I didn't notice that I was missing over in Eevee next, you know, while I'm over there licking the boot. You know, now I see that I'm missing just a little bit, and also I see so many more opportunities to add crazy cut lines and things like that to the mesh, just to make it interesting. But we're in render mode now, so there's no more talk of that. We're just rolling in something. I like that. Something about just the way it feels just impacts me. So let us scroll the floor through combinations until we get something that is possibly too reflective almost. And then we just dial it back a little bit till it's something sane. Let's get in and take a look at it. And selecting the mesh again, going back, just to make sure that we are choosing the best result. So here I'm just choosing this mesh if it lets me. And then we zoom in, and we're just messing with our noise scale. But it won't let us mess with it unless we have the right object selected. Hopefully. Looks like we're messing with the wrong parameter. We're wanting to mess with the surface grunge, this stuff. So let's change it to 16. And that feels a little bit better. And then the detail, we just want to fill it, you know, just a little bit. You know, nothing dramatic, but kind of dramatic. And now we can mess with our specular and roughness levels, depending on what we want with it. So maybe something like so. And we choose how much of that we want entirely. Alright, and I like what we're doing as we are fine-tuning these materials, and this will actually be suitable for like our kind of level 1 result. Rendering isn't really my forte, so this is one of those things I also want to struggle with and improve with you guys as you give me very vulgar and terrible angry comments being like, yo, first of all, you're fired. Second of all, here's how you can get your job back. Just joking about that part. Please don't fire me, guys. I need this job right now. You know, the economy is just not there right now. We're losing market value fast. You know, laughs in British, laughs in Japanese. I know, but I need this job. So we're going to get it together, and I'm going to render this better and better. So this is just the first of us just getting in here and rendering this, just kind of playing with some materials that we got off the marketplace. I do want to play with all the other results. I just didn't want to jump into kit ops immediately, so I'm sorry for anyone who I snubbed on the materials where I didn't grab theirs, because it's never my intention. It's never my intention, and I never realized that every move I make, even the moves I don't make, are insults to someone on some level. And I hate that. You know, I hate all that pressure. And that's the real pressure, you know, whenever people are, oh, I care, that's the problem. I can pretend to not care, but I care, you know, and I care because, you know, the Blender community is such a special community. Everyone's mental, and as a result, that makes it a better place, you know, at least to me. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it's just how I look at it. I'm like, wow, Everybody is so nuts, and it's a special kind of nuts. We're nuts over the same thing. At least we're not battling each other over the software itself. We all love the software, and that is beautiful. That is beautiful. So for this, I do want to try some sort of map. So what I'll need to do is plug it up to a map or some sort of map collection. So let's see, what do I want to do for that? You know what, we'll just use another material. So let's bring it up one more time. And what color do we want the floor? Maybe none of these fit for this floor. That one works. That one works. I was talking smack, and then they shut me up. That's what just happened there. So let's jump back to the main file. Maybe we can turn this into a beautiful render, like a render that will please all parties. Right now I'm waiting for it to jump back over to my mesh because you know, the material rebuild. And let's look at it from rendered view. And what we want to do is scale this. I'm not even sure which scale is the right scale. And I'm not sure if I'm looking at the proper thing on screen or if my monitor is dirty. Okay, I see it now. Alright, so we are going to go with 2, and then we'll just adjust our noise scale to be 0 for a moment. So underneath, we can see it much better. I mean, is there something wrong with the way that we chose it? Yeah, just making sure. Alright, so it's light related. And it's probably because the white is just too white. Alright. And this thing seemed like a better choice from afar. But now that we have it up close, dang, we get that happening underneath. It's just crazy of a result to get on a render. That's all I'm impressed with. 6, and we probably want to lower to grunge. That is not it. Let's see, which one is the grunge mapping? Okay, so we have our grunge range, and we can actually turn that down if we need, allowing us to get something even better. And we want to see if we can lower this a little bit even more, just to get something that will show up in the render. What about the roughness? You know, that works ish. That kind of works. I don't like it. So let's bring this back up. I'll bring my thing back up. I was actually watching a video about the Sopranos, and I just figured this would be a good departure. You know, I just feel guilty being lazy now, and so I'm going to try to do better. I'm going to continue to try to do better and be diligent with it, doing that, because it is very easy to go the other way. Also, I guess I'll need to relocate the materials folder. I had a material folder I just made. Here we go. And we're just going to go in. What is this one? Micro-textured plastics. We'll just open a different file or a small collection we got. And let's see what this one looks like. Maybe it will drop us a banger. That is kind of an interesting plastic. Let us go over to the main file, because maybe there's something it has to show us that I am not seeing. And this thing's material is called, I have to select material, plastic microtexture. So we select the floor, we choose plastic microtexture. So now we have this as our render result. Now what we want to do is mess with our scale. And for this video, I thought, hey, I'll take a brief moment to work without AI music. And you know what? I miss it. No doubt about it. I miss it immensely. Like, I can hit play right now, just like, there we go. Just missing it, guys. Like, people think I'll be tripping, but man, I just realized I was living in a different reality, in a different world that was different than everyone else's, and that happens. I'm always in a different world. That's why I just go in my office sometimes and I just have to just shut the door. Like, the world doesn't understand me no more, and all I can do is write a song about it, and have AI help me out. But I see that that's the future. The future is, for some reason, having AI help you out because it's able to, and to deny it is like to just basically make hard mode on yourself on purpose. And that's also fun. If you love a challenge, live in a challenge. But what should we be challenged on? You know, like I need my cooking to be just right. I need my cooking to be correct. You know what I need to do is select this, and what I want to do is actually select that entire loop, hide it, select this area, and we'll bring this up, and we're just assigning materials. You know, materials are harmless. There we go. And for this area, we're just going to unhide it, and let's press 3 to go in face mode. And if it lets us just my ex-wife is icy as a rock. That's just funny. I mean, my ex probably was icy as a rock, but you know, women are just tough cookies nowadays. You know, that's what it is. They're just hard. What we want to do is assign matte. She couldn't handle the edges. Uh-oh. See, if I start resonating with these songs, then I'm going to get left. And what we want to do is also maybe do something with the bottom. And I was looking at it before and I was like, yeah, I probably have to do something to it, you know, just so it looks cool. And, you know, something like that, just so I know where I can come in and slap decals. But it's just been interesting kind of looking between the differences between Eevee and Eevee Next, because Eevee Next on the first glance had me thinking like, oh man, this is freaking awesome. And then look, we go over to Eevee Next, and well, that's the afterlife. Let me save that, just in case Blender's about to end itself. But look at this. How do I reconcile that? Like, I know I need to play with these settings. There's just so many new settings to play with. It's like, where do you even get started with this? Like, let me get in my horizon scan. Let me hit my horizon scan on them boys. I don't even know what that means. We do have ray tracing, so we could just go to none. But we do need that, and I mean, I love ray tracing. Once you start ray tracing, that's when it gets good. But it's easier for us to just say, hey, take us over to Eevee. Bam. Eevee just hits. Eevee just bangs. I can't just say everything bangs. I'll start calling things bangers and janks. And we're just looking for a contrast that fits here. Probably medium contrast, unless I want it punchy. Just kidding. We'll go to medium high contrast, play with our gamma a little bit, and we're just, you know, we're just having a little fun here. I remember when we used to have like multiple pages of looks. Looks like that's not a thing anymore. Oh wait, no, we're talking about the sequencer here. We have to be under the standard, or yeah, one of the standards, and then we'd have all those looks. We wouldn't have all those looks under the sequencer. I'm sorry, I'm being dumb. So what I'll do is wrap up the video from here, and we'll come back again and hit this one more time. So I'll pause the screen cap keys just so I have something to get a visual of, and we'll take that screenshot. And should we put something glowing? But glowing's so cliche. I just wonder if I should even go that route. But I do also wonder if maybe I can get in here one more time with this particular mesh. Because we solved it, right? Because we solved it, we have this flow. And if that's the case, then let's go ahead and try to take advantage of that. Not saying that we would have a flow even with Boolean modeling. Everything's not a battle. I mean, maybe it is. That's funny to imagine. So let's mark seam. Let's grab this. And we'll grab this on the inside and let us just give this matte. And that may work, that may be regrettable. It just seemed like it would look good. And still, I mean, as I look at this, I see more areas that could just benefit from having a nice material breakdown to make it look good. Okay, so because of our flow, we will need to be creative with how we grab this. So like so, and then Alt H, and we can give that as well. And let's do the same thing also for this area, where we basically grab this section. Let's look at it one more time. This song, I had the rabbit character saying "bwaha" on like every line because I was just trying to see how "bwaha" would work. And it turns out it works as good as you think. Villains shouldn't say "bwahaha" like in general conversation. All right, that's the pro tip. If you take anything away from this tutorial, don't go around saying "bwaha," like you're spawning. And as we were messing with this, you know, I just keep seeing different look opportunities that really work for this. So I mean, the more that we get in there and just have fun with it, right? Like we hit that with the chrome. But we hit this top part with the plastic, like I try to keep my words basic so I don't sound like I'm a person that's trying to sound smart, but I'm actually a dumbass because that's the type of person I am. Except I do spend a lot of time looking up words and making sure that what I'm saying is the correct word. I mean, if I can, otherwise I'll just say things carelessly. We want to grab this. And we'll just mark all the way across. And what I'll do is just mark seam. And I knew that wouldn't work out because the selection just didn't feel all the way continuous, so it just didn't. Let's grab this, Shift H, and we're just going to give this part the material of plastic, even though I feel like that is a mistake, but who knows, maybe it isn't. We're just trying to give it kind of this retro look. I mean, when I be thinking of this stuff, I'm like, ooh, that'll feel retro. Like we want to, I don't want to say certain words because it'll dictate how I have to texture it, but you know, we want that retro, that Commodore, that you know, back when game consoles had dignity and they felt regal, right? Like you would hold them and it's like, whoa, that game console has some power, and it would basically be replaced the next year. They'd be worthless the following year because that's how it is. Especially when it came to Atari. Atari was so ruthless. That's why they died. They died because they just did not care about the people that they were serving, and you know, they were just releasing consoles that were just messed up. I love this song. I mean, this is my favorite playlist. I mean, my favorite arc so far is the Dark Rabbit, which is why it sucks that I'm such a hack and I suck. Like, I would have to figure out new animals to make into villains, because really true creativity would be me being versatile enough to deal with the criticism of my woman. So if she's telling me, hey, you got to make it not suck, then she probably has a point. Let's Alt 4, and that was a very fast, quick to grid fill. I mean, we're competing with vanilla grid fill, which grid fill is just too fast, too easy, and we're just making that work. And then under materials, we're just alt clicking blank material, which will give us a pulsing material. We want to remove whatever's happening underneath this particular result. So also, in case you're wondering what happened after the last video, my woman did decide, like, I mean, she dealt with dinner, and so as a result, I didn't have to even think about it. So when I walked out of here, dinner was already figured out. I mean, not like in a braggadocious way, just she already knew what was going to be for dinner. So I was like, pizza, and her look indicated, no pizza for you. Leftover soup from yesterday, and I'm not even complaining. It was actually very good. When I smelled it, I was like, okay, that is dinner right there. Dinner is served. I mean, I'm so lazy. I love the option that requires me not doing anything. So now we actually have a result that looks a lot better, or at least better to my eyes, even though it's a little too dark and dreary just for me. Like, I'm trying to be, I don't want that to carry over into my art, my feelings about the world. But also I don't want, I feel like I've expressed it a little too much now, because people think that I'm trying to be a dang. Wait, this asset straight to the patrons. All right, the patrons are grabbing that right now. That's that stormtrooper right there. Like, look, we will come back to that, because once the render starts really just popping off, it just gets so great. I mean, we grabbed this back screen and we could make that illuminated too, but to do that we'll have to put a display on it. So for the display, we could put like an ad on it probably. Like, if we're just having fun, let's pretend like you guys aren't like, yo, when is MX gonna stop talking so I can go eat dinner? Or hey, don't razz me, all right? Because I will start making terrible jokes. Like I said, in my culture, people roast, and they're terrible. They're relentless, and it's just terrible. It's a terrible thing. You don't want to be roasted. All right. So let's Shift D, let's P, separate it out. So now we have this piece, and that piece ain't gonna work like I'm hoping. So let's try that again. What I'm gonna do is, first let's apply the mirror, and now we can go in and all right, so this one, we're gonna grab this and we'll give it an emissive material. I know my keystrokes aren't even displayed, and that's because I was legit about to end this video, but instead we are now back in the game, baby. So because the music is still bopping, like, as long as the music's bopping, wahaha. All right, that's what we're looking at. I wish I could scale it up in the viewport. We want to go to UV editing. All right, and let's go to layout. So now that we have that, we can go to our shading, and let me locate the media for Insolve. And also, I showed way too much in that image. I never want to show the upcoming monster concept. I just want it to be ready. I want to be ready for you guys. Like, I care about the presentation. Like, if the presentation's wrong, it'll it ruins the presentation. It makes me look like a loser. I like to really perfect things. All right, so we have multiple here. So I'm just looking at we want, I don't know, 250, 250. And let's put it forward by 150 frames, just so it's like, boom. That would just be crazy. And then let's 350. Waha. All right. Do it. I just want to see it fire down. There we go. That's the shot. And so now we can go over. Oh God, come on. Go to the end. and we just want to arrow key backwards, maybe in a view that's more responsive. So let's Alt V. Look at this in solid texture toggle, and I have to express what I'm doing because I'm not showing my keys. I should just turn my keys back on, but the video will end and I'll be just turning it back off again. So sorry about that. I hate doing that. You know, it makes me feel like a bum. I'm telling you, the things that bother me, you'd never even believe or understand. Huh. He shouldn't say that he's screaming. Maybe, I don't know. Should he be screaming? I mean, it's his dimension of pain, so I don't know. These are the questions I ask myself when I listen to it all day. Like, you're like, yo, MX, you're still listening to this all day? It's like, well, I mean, how do you perfect something? Like, you test it over and over and over. I don't know. Maybe you test it differently. I don't know. Maybe I'm a shitty-ass tester. But, yeah, no, I test it over and over and over until it's dead, until all the life has been sucked out of it. And then I move on, you know. And in fact, as I say that, I'm like, maybe I do have things in common with the rabbit god. But no, I'm just jesting, of course. I wish that I was so cool. Wahaha, look at you. And I'm just looking at it thinking, you know, that bloom ain't hitting as hard. Let's try it again. Let's bring it down just a little bit, and we want to grab the screen and just make sure that we have, I don't know, 5. No, 5 is probably too much. We'll put it 4. 5's too much, but 4 is just right. All right, that's my girl Goldilocks. All right. Eevee next made me lose confidence in my ability to render. That's my review of Eevee next. Like, if you were like, yo, how's that Eevee next? I'd be like, Eevee next gaslit me, made me think that I was a freaking idiot. Like, I forgot how to render. I was like, well, I don't know, maybe rendering in Blender has changed and I don't know how to render anymore. But no, I can get in here and still make a retro handheld with the InSolve logo on the back, just indicating that, yo, we're going to scan you and we're going to solve you. So sorry about talking so much. I will be back with a proper rendering video. I just was trying to warm up, but I completely failed at this. This recording is for the patrons, but let us move forward.